We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a bit of interesting and noteworthy news regarding the head of the table and tribal chief Roman Reigns, who is continuing to dominate the blue brand as arguably the best universal champion of all time. Now it goes without question that Roman Reigns has been on the best run of his entire WWE career over the past year or so, with Reigns completely reinventing himself and his career since he returned all the way back at SummerSlam 2020, where Roman proceeded to turn heel and shockingly align himself with Paul Heyman, because not only has Roman Reigns had some phenomenal matches since then, Reigns' character has been taken to the next level in WWE, and quite honestly, Roman is truly one of the best things WWE has to offer these days, with Roman being must-see television each and every week on Friday Night SmackDown. It has gotten to the point where a lot of fans view Roman Reigns as the best wrestler currently working for WWE, especially now that the Fiend Bray Wyatt has been released from the company. And it's hard to argue the notion that Roman is the best performer currently working for WWE, as his matches, promos, and his overall Universal title reign has been fantastic to say the least. And whether you love or hate him, lots of fans are simply tuning into SmackDown to see the head of the table perform, and Reigns is far removed from the times when he was being pushed down everyone's throat, and a lot of fans did not want to see him in the top storylines, because nowadays Roman truly is the guy most fans want to see at the top in WWE, with his new character and persona. However, while Roman Reigns is looked upon by many fans as being the best in WWE, there's no doubt that there are quite a few talents wrestling outside of WWE, in promotions such as AEW All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling, that many fans feel are at that top level and potentially deserving of the title of being the best wrestler in the world. However, Roman Reigns recently put out a tweet that has got the wrestling world in a buzz, with it certainly attracting a lot of attention, with some fans agreeing with Roman Reigns, whereas other fans were angered and furious with Roman's comments. In this tweet, Roman Reigns stated the following message: "Different than anyone else before, levels above anyone else or anything in this industry, acknowledge me." Now of course, Roman is still sort of in character with this message on social media, but it is clear that Roman Reigns does believe to some extent that he is the best wrestler in the world right now, and above everyone else in the industry of professional wrestling. Now to some extent, it is a bit hard to argue with Roman Reigns, because not only is his acting and promo ability top-notch combined with his in-ring great talent, he's also one of the WWE's top merchandise sellers, and a truly big star with a massive fan following across all social media platforms. However, a lot of fans also disagreed with Roman's sentiments that he is above and beyond all other wrestlers in the industry right now, with some fans even claiming that John Cena is still a better wrestler and overall draw compared to Reigns, and that there are plenty of wrestlers outside of WWE that are better than Roman Reigns, with a prime example being Kenny Omega, who some feel is deserving of the best wrestler in the world title more than Roman Reigns. With that said, the WWE fans who do think and agree with the notion that Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in the world right now have stated that they think Roman's title run has been better than anything Kenny Omega has done outside of WWE, and that Kenny Omega is quite overrated in the grand scheme of things. Not surprisingly, those who feel Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world claim Roman Reigns to be very overrated and overhyped, with these fans on social media claiming that while Roman is great in the ring, there are better workers than him in the industry right now when it comes to in-ring ability, and when it comes to promos, Roman is average at best. Which in all honesty does not seem like a fair assessment for this new version of Roman Reigns that has been doing much better promo work than ever before. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of Roman Reigns proclaiming he is the best wrestler in the world right now, and do you agree with Roman Reigns that he is levels above everyone else in the industry currently? Or do you feel that Roman is getting a little bit ahead of himself by making big statements like this already? Regardless whether or not you feel Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in the business right now, it's hard to argue that Roman has improved leaps and bounds since his return last year, and even if he's not at that level yet, it will not be long before the disagreeing fans will have to acknowledge that Roman Reigns is at the top of the game, especially with his historic reign as the Universal Champion that does not seem to be ending anytime soon. Also, if we're just talking about WWE, do you feel like Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in the company right now? Or are there even other superstars signed to WWE currently that are above Roman in the running for the best wrestler in the world title? Now there's no doubt that there are a lot of conspiracy theories in professional wrestling, and a shocking new one has just been revealed by former ECW Tag Team Champion Garry Wolfe, who was a guest on the Wrestling Inc. daily podcast today. Garry revealed that he feels Vince McMahon and WWE may secretly own AEW All Elite Wrestling, or at the very least, Vince has some sort of a secret relationship with Tony Khan and AEW. Here's a direct quote from Garry on this new theory. "I watch WWE here and there. I'm very confused about how they're releasing so many people. I don't understand that. I'll give you an example. I think Vince McMahon may own AEW. That's just my opinion. Why is his guys rolling and they're going right there to AEW? I mean, I know Paul Wight. I know Paul before he was a wrestler. I know Vince loves him, and Mark Henry's another guy. What's going on? He's getting rid of all the big guys. It doesn't make any sense. I'm starting to think that there is a relationship between Vince McMahon and Tony Khan and AEW. Now this is definitely quite a wild theory on former ECW wrestler Garry Wolfe's part, and it has, not surprisingly, garnered huge attention from the wrestling community since it came out earlier today. Let us know your thoughts and opinions on Garry's interesting theory that Vince McMahon and WWE secretly own AEW, or at the very least have some kind of a mutual relationship between the two promotions. Do you think that this is too far-fetched to be real, or do you feel like there could be some validity to Garry's shocking claims? Bray Wyatt's shocking release from WWE the other week is still not surprisingly one of the biggest talking points regarding WWE and wrestling in general, with many fans still being baffled that Vince McMahon and WWE would fire one of their top superstars completely out of the blue, not to mention a huge merchandise seller for WWE. Regardless, most are starting to come to terms on Bray Wyatt's surprise release from WWE, and the question that many fans have now is, where is Bray Wyatt going to go after his release from WWE? There were, not surprisingly, a lot of rumors following The Fiend's release that AEW All Elite Wrestling have an interest in acquiring Bray once his non-compete clause with WWE runs up in a few months. Although former WWE writer Vince Russo does not think Bray Wyatt joining AEW is a good idea. For those of you unaware, in a recent interview, former WWE writer Vince Russo revealed that he does not think Bray Wyatt should join AEW, with Vince clarifying that he feels Bray Wyatt has a bright future in Hollywood as being the next Jason or Freddy, and that Bray is better than wrestling and would do amazing for horror films and truly reach his potential in acting. Now, in all honesty, Vince is not totally off the mark here, as Bray Wyatt does show a lot of promise for this kind of thing, but that certainly does not mean that Bray would have to leave wrestling altogether, and could still join AEW on a part-time basis if he wanted to.